Hello, if you're here for the first time, my name is Jenny Dye. Welcome to today's Burst of Hope, my gift to the world because everyone needs hope. You know, the ability to choose hope has nothing to do with age. My young friend Mark taught me that. You've never heard of Mark before right now. I hope you never forget what you're about to hear. 14-year-old Mark was already a basketball star. He had broken every scoring record at his school and is on his way to becoming a legend. But that was before the accident. He was with 4 of his friends heading into town for a night at the movies. They were all laughing and talking when the car hit an icy patch, spun out of control, and slammed into the guardrail. Mark was catapulted from the rear window. When the state patrol arrived, Mark was sitting on the side of the road staring at a torrent of blood gushing from his right thigh. His right leg, severed through by a guardrail cable, was just 5 feet away. Well, surgery saved his life, but it couldn't save his leg. Mark's first words were, "Well, what about my basketball career?" He already had big plans for playing college ball, then becoming a pro. The doctors exchanged looks, but they didn't have an answer for him. Well, Mark didn't need one. When he found out his coach and team were in the waiting room, he sent him a message. "Tell Coach I'll be back next year." Well, no one dared defy him, but only his parents believed he had a chance to do it. And, that's what parents are for, you know. Mark was truly a unique young man. He knew from the beginning that his attitude was everything. He told people around him, "I'm not going to feel sorry for myself. I don't really see where that can help." And then he took it that necessary step further and said, "Instead of getting bitter and angry, I'm just going to be positive." When he sensed pity from people, his response was always the same. "Don't feel bad for me. I'll be just fine." Then he set out to prove it. When he returned home, his life was physical therapy and tutoring to keep up with his schoolwork. He pushed himself in therapy, ignoring the pain and driving hard to regain his strength and balance. One afternoon when no one was home, he hobbled out back to the basketball court. He put down his crutches, started hopping on one leg, and began to shoot hoops. But within seconds, he lost his balance and crashed to the asphalt. He picked himself up and he started again. 15 minutes later, he was exhausted, but not defeated. All he thought was, well, I guess this is going to take a little longer than I thought. 4 months after the accident, he got his first prosthesis, his first artificial leg. He thought it would make things easier. In fact, it was harder. But he drove himself to learn how to walk with his prosthetic leg, then shoot the basketball, then run. His doctors suspected it would be at least a year before he would even walk comfortably with his new leg. They didn't know Mark. He simply decided he would have to work even harder. He just wouldn't give up. Slowly he got better, but whenever he tried to push himself on the basketball court, he usually just crashed to the ground. In spite of his extraordinary attitude, he was still just human. Yes, the defeat began to get to him. The thought did come to him that maybe he just couldn't do it. But he pushed the thought down as quickly as it came to him. Every time it came to him. He just had to work harder. He chose hope. He began a daily regimen of shooting, dribbling, and weightlifting. The effort left huge blisters on his leg from the prosthetic, but he ignored it and pushed on, buoyed by the knowledge he was making progress. What was a little pain when he was making shots again? Are you ready for this? That fall, against all odds, Mark Haley made the basketball team, and he made it secure in the knowledge he had earned it. No one had worked harder than he had during tryouts. The whole team cheered when he was elected team captain. His first game started out as a disaster. He was jerky and awkward, shooting off balance and throwing up air balls. His rhythm was totally off. The coach called him out for a breather. Well, Mark was beyond frustrated, but he knew the coach had to watch out for the whole team. He was thrilled when the coach put him back in with just a few minutes left in the half. He had used his time on the bench to make sure he was ready this time. He closed his eyes right before he ran on the court and told himself, "Come on, Mark. This is what you've worked for. Show him you can do it." Seconds later, he worked himself free, received a pass, and put up a long three-pointer. The stands erupted with wild cheering. Then he drove to the basket, pulled down a rebound and muscled it back up to the board, scoring again. Mark was back. Can't you just envision that night? Here's the thing. In a situation where many have chosen despair and defeat, Mark chose hope. Mark chose to turn what could have been a disaster into a victory. He determined to be positive and to do whatever it took to accomplish his goals. He went on to play high school basketball and tennis. He's now a college basketball coach. No one on his team ever makes excuses. They wouldn't dare. Not a one of them has to play with just one leg. Everyone has limitations. You do. Everyone has problems. You do. Everyone has things in their life that stand as an obstacle to reaching their dreams. You do. The ones who succeed are the ones who decide to do whatever it takes, the ones who choose hope no matter what, who decide to not let anything stop them, who decide to do whatever it takes to make their dreams come true. You have a choice in your own life right now, today. What will it be? Remember my definition of hope? Hope is the bird that sings to the dawn while it is still dark. You can choose to sing before the light starts flooding into your life, believing that it will come. I'm here on the journey with you. Remember, the choices you make today will determine the rest of your life. So choose hope.